Hello, all viewers, and yes, it's yet another fantastic day. A very romantic climate indeed in Bengaluru, and we are from Bengaluru live at our broadcast, Chillax with Joe's Chai, a show that's been trending and that's been receiving so many positive feedbacks. And we've been able to chat with some amazing personalities across India, all of them contributing to the society in some way or the other. Yesterday, we had the singing sensation and the sub-inspector from the Vigilance and Anti-Corruption Bureau from Kerala, whose voice also resembled our Yeshudas ji, and we had a fantastic session, learning so many values, skills, the disciplinary, values that they follow, and which is very important for the generation now. And today at our studios, we will have yet another fantastic personality, very strict personality. Takes some time to smile. Not very easy to get him smiling and talking, but let us see how he could contribute to all our viewers. He's going to teach us many lessons. He is a cutthroat a professional, a businessman, an entrepreneur, doing lot many charity works. He is an advisor for lot many charity organizations, and it's going to be so fantastic. We're going to go deep into his life stories, all about his failures, the success stories, how he was able to overcome these failures and be the person now he is. So, my dear viewers, it's time now to share, to create watch parties so that we have another fantastic session. Of course, thank you to Chintanji, who's my pillar, my co-founder. This show evolved during the Corona times, during the pandemic times, teaching us, enabling us to learn different lifestyles, different principles, different values that successful people follow. And it is very important to learn. Never believe that you've learned everything till you die, because learning is a continuous process, and which is why this show has also gained its due respect, due feedbacks, positive feedbacks, because it's all about learning from each life. So, my dear viewers, namaskaram, വന്ദനങ്ങൾ. എന്താ പറയുന്ന ഒരു അടിപൊളി പ്രോഗ്രാമായിട്ട് മാറിക്കൊണ്ട് വരികയാണ്, ബിക്കോസ് കുറെ പേര് നല്ല പോസിറ്റീവ് ഫീഡ്ബാക്സ് ആണ് തന്നിട്ടുള്ളത്. അതുകൊണ്ട് ദയവ് ചെയ്ത് നമ്മുടെ വ്യൂവേഴ്സിനോട് പറയാനുള്ളത്, എല്ലാവരും ഈ ഷോയിനെ പ്രോത്സാഹിപ്പിക്കുക, ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್ ചെയ്യുക, ಶೇರ್ ചെയ്യുക. ದಯವಿಟ್ಟು ಈ ಶೋನ ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ನಿಮ್ ಪ್ರೀತಿ ತೋರಿಸಿ, ವಿಡಿಯೋನ ಶೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ಬರುವ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಪರ್ಸನಾಲಿಟೀಸ್ಗೂ ಮೋಟಿವೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ಇನ್ಸ್ಪೈರ್ ಮಾಡಿ. ಸೊ ದಯವಿಟ್ಟು ಈ ಶೋನ ಫಾಲೋ ಮಾಡಿ. ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಸಬ್ಸ್ಕ್ರೈಬ್ UTM ಹಂಟ್, ದ ಯೂಟ್ಯೂಬ್ ಚಾನೆಲ್. ಈ ಚಾನೆಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮುಂದಕ್ಕೆ ತುಂಬಾನೇ ಅನೇಕ ಟ್ಯಾಲೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ವಿಡಿಯೋಸ್, ಮತ್ತೆ ಸ್ಕಿಲ್ ವಿಡಿಯೋಸ್, ಮತ್ತೆ ಇಂಟರ್ವ್ಯೂಸ್, ಟಾಕ್ ಶೋಸ್ ಬರಬಹುದು. ಅಂಡ್ ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ನಿಮ್ ಎಲ್ಲರದು ಪ್ರೀತಿ ತುಂಬಾನೇ ಮುಖ್ಯವಾಗಿದೆ. ಸೊ हर प्रेक्षकों को हमारा नमस्कार, और बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया कि आपके प्यार दिखाने के लिए, और हर दिन, हर सैटरडे संडे को आके हमको सपोर्ट करने के लिए इस शो के द्वारा बहुत कुछ चीजें सीख पा रहे हैं. और मुझे खुद बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है कि बहुत बहुत पर्सनालिटीज आके उनके बारे में बात करते हैं, और जो भी फेलियर्स और सक्सेस स्टोरीज है हमारे साथ डिस्कस करते हैं, और उनके द्वारा हम लोग बहुत कुछ सीख सकते हैं. तो इसीलिए आपका सपोर्ट बहुत बहुत जरूरत है. और आज हमारे साथ चर्चा करेंगे एक ऐसा व्यक्ति जिन्होंने बहुत बहुत जगहों में ट्रैवल किए हैं, और बहुत चैरिटी ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस को एडवाइस भी करते हैं. और उनका जो एडवाइजरी इंटेलेक्चुअल है, उनके साथ हम लोग आज डिस्कस करेंगे, और एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप के बारे में बात करेंगे, और हर लोग कुछ ना कुछ जरूर सीखेंगे. तो इसीलिए मूविंग ऑन टू द शो, soon we're going to have none other than Dr. Dushyant Prasad. Dr. Dushyant Prasad is a postgraduate in human resource management, doctoral in non-profit management. He's also a international programs advisor for Deutsche Cleft Kinderhilfe, an international charity organization that supports cleft treatment around the world. He's also the proprietor for Uber Culture, Indo-German intercultural and language training firm. He has also been featured in ET Now for India Mart Leaders of Tomorrow. He was also featured in Bangalore Mirror with Work Leaders, Careers 360, cover story interview on social sector. So this man is the right person to talk to know more about entrepreneurship, to know more about management of funds from different organizations to charity organizations. How can they be implemented? How can these funds be channelized? To create the perfect impact that the society needs. So, my dear viewers, I bring live right away to you. Yes, Dushyant ji, namaskara, namaskaram. How are you doing?
Namaskaram, Namaskaram, Jojo. Thank you so much for having me on your show. I'm very well, thank you.
So fantastic to have you on our show, Dushyant ji. And it's so good to see you smile. Is it because of the romantic climate today?
Well, actually, I think I've heard that a smile is what we always keep doing, and I think I need to start my talk with a smile. What we create on a day-on-day
Wow.
basis.
So nice. So good to see you, Dushyant ji. So Dushyant ji, what about the pandemic times? How have you been, facing it? Was it positive?
Well, the only good thing that I wasn't positive was what
Okay.
was positive. So, so well, the pandemic and the lockdowns was something which really made us look back at life and
True.
introspect. I think for me, this was the first time wherein actually everything came to a grinding halt, and
Okay.
really I had so much time to look back, or rather, it made me go back and see what we've done over the years.
Wow.
A large family time actually, which I hadn't spent in over a decade, and
Wow.
I also spent a lot of time in my beautiful hometown, Mysore.
Okay.
So this was the only time that I wasn't traveling. So all this was, all in all, I think it was a very interesting time, but
Wow.
it again a difficult time because you kept thinking what was going to happen tomorrow, how are things going to change.
True.
You're always on 10 hooks, and
Yes.
thankfully, and we should be very grateful for that because we are the lucky ones who didn't have to worry too much. But a lot of people lost their livelihoods, lost their businesses, lost a lot what they had in thing. But for us, things might be a slowdown, and but we know that we can bounce back.
So true.
But I think people who really have had a difficult time, I think it's most important that we to need to tell them that there's always light at the end of the tunnel, and we need to keep working
Wow.
through that.
So nice, so nice. Very well said. And I don't know if it's your French beard, but already we have Bharati Washi saying nice personality, and you have Shahinta Zimran saying happy Deepavali, brother, and so good. I mean, it's so good to see positive comments and positive feedbacks, and that keeps us going. So, Dushanji, before we start, in your mother tongue, if you could wish all our viewers.
Sure. ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ದೀಪಾವಳಿ ಹಬ್ಬದ ಶುಭಾಶಯಗಳು. uh, and may this year be as prosperous as what it was not
Wow.
from now on. So let Goddess Lakshmi bestow happiness and prosperity on all of us. ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ದೀಪಾವಳಿ ಹಬ್ಬದ ಶುಭಾಶಯಗಳು ಮತ್ತು ತಮ್ಮ ಮನೆಯವರಿಗೂ. Thank you.
Wow. Wow. Nice. Now I'm going to teach you in Malayalam. Do you know Malayalam, Dushanji, by any chance?
That's very, very
Okay.
actually that's the problem.
Sorry.
I'm very bad at languages, I've even flunked
Oh,
in
okay.
languages.
Okay. So now you need to repeat this after me. Yeah, it's a humble request. Okay. Enne kanunna
എന്നെ കാണുന്ന
എല്ലാവർക്കും
എല്ലാവർക്കും
namaskaram.
namaskaram.
Wow, beautiful. You're so perfect at it. do you do you speak Hindi?
I do understand, but
Okay.
I'm not very good. I'm not very conversant at it. Yeah.
Okay, okay. I think I should not trouble you much. So the last thing that I'm going to teach you today is how to drink chai So I can see the cup of tea with you. So if you could just raise the cup of tea, and I'm going to teach you my style, my way, my style of drinking a chai. So initially, what we do is you need to smell the tea, the fragrance, get the fragrance. So if you could please smell the tea. Okay. And then what you need to do is you need to make the sound and drink it the way I do. Okay, so it goes like hmm. Please do that. Please do that.
Okay, I'm doing it for the first time. Let's see.
Okay.
Mine
Oh
is a
God.
tea. I don't get the sound.
Oh, okay.
I'm not drinking.
So nice. So Dushanji, after having seen your profile, after having done quite a bit of research about you, it's so fantastic to know that you have traveled a long way. But at the end of the day, what the audience would definitely want to know is what have you been through? What was the journey like? And to know that, initially we need to know from what kind of a family background you come, and who all are involved in the making of the so-called Dr. Dushyant Prasad. And that's more important for the generation today, because they need to understand where you come from. And that's more important. May the personality be anybody for that matter. This show, what we focus is on to bring in real life stories and inspire every viewer. So Dushanji, what kind of a family background you come from? Who was your inspiration within the family as
Yeah, I mean, our family has been a nuclear family, which comprises of my father, mother, my younger sister, and I. So we are very close. We are a very close knit family, and I think my parents have always believed in. I think their whole life has revolved and revolved and evolved. I would say, because or rather on what my sister and I did. So and they always allowed us whatever we wanted to do, and it was more of our ideas and our choices which they helped nurture. They were never imposed on anything on us, be it a career, be it what we wanted to do, what we wanted to play, or whatever we liked. So everything was we were allowed, but they were always like the guardian angels or the guiding lights to us, and they were little. I mean, they were always there, and they always didn't want us to go haywire in what we did. So that was something which helped us grow in the best way that we could. And most importantly, I think we're all wondering what we want to do and where we want to go and what we want to achieve. And I think it keeps changing during your growing years, the years that you start actually trying to plan making a career. And that's when you realize, you think, do your parents have to actually tell you what to do, or do you have to have somebody else? Do you have to have a role model? Well, I would say I've never had a role model, because I've not had a role model. I've had many role models. I wanted to be like many people, and I still aspire to be like many people. Rather, I
well?
would like aspire to be like myself, but I've been inspired by a lot of people. So I think I believe in the simple concept: whatever you aspire, the universe conspires.
Wow.
And so this is what has kept me going all throughout.
Okay.
I've had a very good support system with my family and my dear friends. So they've always been supportive in this. So I've thought of a lot of things, but there was
Mm.
one thing which I thinking that I was always interested in, something
Okay.
that I could do, which would have purpose, and at the same time I could actually bring in a lot of a structure the chaos. And that's when
Okay.
this was a decade back, got this opportunity to start managing something in terms of a largely unorganized sector, which is the third
Okay.
sector. And
True.
that's how it's been.
So yeah, actually, Dushinji, we had missed the initial part of your conversation regarding the family. So how many of you are there in the family? So it's your father, mother, and you have brothers and sisters as well.
It's my father, mother, my younger sister, and I. So just four of
Okay.
us.
Okay.
Yeah.
So which is so you are you the elder son?
Yes, man.
Okay. Which is why the strict face, is it?
I think it's because no, 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 it's nothing like that. It's just that I'm not an introvert. I'm not a reserved person, but I'm at the same. I'm not too much of a gregarious person either. So I'm in between there.
Okay. Great, great. So what about your college days? How did that go, and what best you missed from those days?
Oh, the college days, I think, was some of our best days. What I missed is
Wow.
hanging out with my friends, and in fact, the college day. I liked my college days more than the school days. I hated the school days because I still have bad dreams about them. So I haven't studied for, I haven't completed my homework. In fact, I still get dreams 20 years later. I still get dreams. But the
Okay.
college days were really relaxed because I think that was a stream which I always liked. And
Wow.
even really, I mean, a very little bit of preparation for your exams, and you still would sail through. And you
Okay.
really what you like to study. And
Okay.
then you had friends, and you kept competing with them. And at the same time, you were really chilled out, and there was nothing like, oh, this is there tomorrow, and we really have to do this. The
True
worrisome
that.
out there. So that's what it was interesting for me.
Wow, that's very nice. And Abhishek Daga says hello, and Alak Ran says hello to you. Very happy to all the viewers who are watching us. Do share this video. We're gonna learn so many more values and so many more lessons through Dr. Dushyant Prasad. Dushyanti, you said you had a lot of role models, and but what was that one thing, one positive vibe that kept you going, and that kept telling you that this is what it is. You really need to focus on this particular department, the very disorganized department. So what was that one positive thing? What was the turning point of your life?
Yeah, well, I would say a lot of people do talk about that click, as you mentioned, what was the turning point. But I think there are two things to it. I wouldn't say that one incident, because it's everything is a continuous process, but two things happened.
True.
One is they say failure is always a stepping stone to success. And I think
True.
that was the first thing. So I'll
Okay.
tell you a little bit of the other thing is serendipity. I think whatever we do, is all
Okay.
about if there is serendipity, because you really don't know what you're getting into, and that's when you
True.
get into something, and that takes you there. So I would talk about failure because I actually chose the wrong stream when I wanted to move into in my studies, and then I kept changing whatever. But then when
Oh.
come to talk about serendipity is because it was just an opportunity that I got, and I realized
Okay.
why not make a career out of it. And that's most important when you realize that you are thrown in a situation, and that's the click that happens. So you just get
Correct.
into it. So and but what I would like to say, there's no one such thing, because there are a lot of times we keep getting these opportunities, and you
Correct.
just keep picking up ticks all throughout your path, and there's a long way to
Absolutely.
go.
Yeah.
I'm still nowhere. I'm still nowhere there. So
True.
I said,
But Dushyantji, what happens is, especially in today's times, if you see, parents want their children to be, guided well, and there's career counseling, and they're pressurized to go through that entire process. But as a person, I feel, but life doesn't go that way. Even if you're guided, and even if you have a good career counselor, at the end of the day, what clicks, that click, the turning point is definitely going to be something else, and that you need to really go through it and experience it, and that's when best becomes your teacher. So what is your opinion about it?
yeah. One thing, parents really shouldn't be too harsh, because you really can't. You're not sculpting out an idol. You can't make your child an idol there. You're not. It's not a stone that you can sculpt it out, because
True.
parents, and it's a little bit to do with our Indian mentality. Unfortunately, I
Okay.
mean, I'm thankful that I've actually traveled both between the West and the East, and I've seen the
Wow.
differences. And what I see here is that. In the Western, compared to the when you compare our Indian or the the Indian subcontinent to the
Okay.
Western world, we are actually bogged down by uh, career career goals. So the day the child is born, the parents decide what the child wants to be, and the next phase
True.
of life is after they've got their career, getting them married, and that's how Indian matchmaking is done. But these are the
Yes.
two things which. But I think you need to really allow the child to really decide what they want because they really don't know. Um, Fortunately or unfortunately and unfortunately, our Indian education system needs a complete overhaul
Okay.
because it really doesn't talk about it really doesn't tell you what you want to become. But at
Okay.
the same time, I say fortunate, unfortunate, but at the same time, I think I'm really fortunate to have had the good education that I have got until now. But
Wow.
it really should be improved because you really need to mold the person as they go. It's a cut and go thing. Now, when you're
Absolutely.
talking about what you need to choose as a career, it should be something which is not a job, but it should be a passion. But this is where now what happens is today's world is another problem here. Everybody says, I have a passion. Now, my passion is to travel. My passion is to ride bikes. My passion is to do this. Now, I want to make
True.
a career out of it. But you really
Correct.
need to understand you need a career which can actually pay your bills. That's the first thing. A
Wow.
career which can actually run your family, which you don't want to put your family under stress. At the third time,
Absolutely.
you need career, which is a career which will be evergreen. It's
True.
not a career which is there today and gone tomorrow. And you can't say tomorrow, this is my passion I want. So you need
Correct.
to have the passion. You need to love your job. You need to get a job which you love. So the first thing is not about job. Now, what you need to do is choose a career. And this is where
Okay.
I think parents can help you by telling you to have your head on your shoulders. That's most
Okay.
important. And
Okay.
there are a lot of opportunities. So you try to understand and analyze what this is what I've actually spoken to a lot of people in the age group of 18 to 20, and this is what I tell them. Not everybody
Okay.
needs to be an engineer, but again, don't say that just because everybody is engineering is a herd mentality. If you're good at it, go for it. We really need engineers. We need doctors. The problem
True.
is large number of people, we really don't get the good doctors and good engineers because a large number of people are really not interested in it. Now, the
Correct.
other people who are not interested in, try to analyze what your key forte is. Now,
Yes.
every job is not a cushy job. Every career is not a cushy career.
Wow.
Uh, every business is not a glamorous business. So, and everybody can't
Absolutely.
be we need to understand that. And even if you understand, even flamboyance, whatever goes up comes down. So we
Absolutely.
really have to be level headed. And that's the first thing which I see. Now,
Yes.
whatever you need to choose, understand what you need to choose. And once you choose what you really like, it's not
Yeah.
an easy ride. Even though it's your
Exactly.
passion, you'll have ups and downs. And that's where you need to understand what you want to do. So when I got into the nonprofit sector, I really did not know what what the nonprofit sector was all about. The first thing
Okay.
that I did, I spoke to as many people as I was. This was while I was working, as many
Okay.
people. I must have spoken to hundreds of people in the sector. Then I
Wow.
understood because I was always, what do you say? I mean, fascinated by the corporate world, and I thought this is not.
Wow.
I try to marry the two, but it doesn't work that way. And
Okay.
that's when you're passionate about this, but you're looking at something else. But that's when because it's always the concept of the grass is greener on the other side. But that's when
True.
I realized there's so much that you can actually do within the sector. There's so much that you can learn
Absolutely.
with, and if you like it, I mean, you enjoy it, and that's true. And you keep enjoying it, and you keep learning different things. And this is what has kept me going and keeps me rather.
Wow, so good. So during the times that you decided to get married to the corporate world, to the non-profit world, did you find some time to marry the woman of your life as well?
Well, not as yet, hopefully
Okay.
soon.
Wow. So all my wishes. I'm sure you're going to get another very intellectual lady of your life as well. So that's my prayers and wishes, because the way you talk, you're not going to be a normal hubby. It's going to be very tough to handle you, isn't it?
I don't think so. I really don't.
Wow. So that was a Sada Chai segment, my viewers. And of course, we're having some very good session with Dr. Dushyant ji, who's also apparently a very mutual a friend of one of my dear brothers, Nandan Malya. Thank you to him, for introducing Dushanji to me, and it's such a honor, and it's my pleasure hosting you on this show, Dushanji. And thank you, Nandan. Hope you're watching this, bro. He was traveling from Bangalore to Mangalore, is what I heard, Dushanji. The latest update that I got. So very very soon we will chat together.
It's really nice. Another of mine. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So moving on to the correct choice segment, responsible for the implementation and monitoring the impact of the projects funded by organizations, which you call it delivery of care. Your thoughts on this, Dushyantji?
So what happens is, as you hear, I mean, a lot of people, and I mean, this is again, since we're talking, I mean, we are talking more to the people who are not aware of the non-profit sector.
Yes.
The non-profit sector is a lot of people think that you are not anybody from the non-profit sector is those who wear a kurta and a sling bag and
Yeah.
things like that and do and actually keep donating items to the
True.
poor and the needy. That's not what the non-profit sector is all about. Of course,
Okay.
that's called disaster response. In our language, in our term, we call it disaster response when we
Wow.
actually are talking about handing over free kits or trying to give people food or food distribution.
Okay.
The non-profit sector is all about making a difference and making a
Okay.
sustainable difference. Now, it's not possible to make an overnight change in anything. There are
Correct.
a lot of forces that drive these changes. And
Wow.
that is also because, as I said, the education, going back to the education system, a large number of our population, 80% of our population is uneducated. So now
Correct.
how do you actually tell them to get a job, or how do you tell them to create a career? Most of them are in
Correct.
unorganized businesses, unorganized areas of work. So this is where the gap is. And when you have to,
Okay.
as a non-profit is trying to raise the standard of living. They're
Okay.
trying to raise uh, the voices of the unheard. They're trying
Okay.
to call out indiscrimination. They're working for the
Okay.
areas of diversity, inclusion, and this is what nonprofits do. Now, when we're
Okay.
talking about this, these are the interventions. There's a gap. So it's a
Okay.
gap between the haves and the have-nots. So
Wow.
the haves are ones like us who are blessed with resources. We have got resources, we've got the knowledge, we've got the know-how, and we've got a
Wow.
good life. The have-nots
Yes.
are those who really don't even have a one square meal a day. They don't have access to a doctor for
Wow.
when it
Wow.
could be a simple treatment, it could be a
True.
simple diagnosis of something, it could be a surgery. That the have-nots are those who are being harassed at home and their
True.
voices are suppressed. The have-nots are those who are being burnt by their own parents because they can't get afford to get them married. Those
Oh
are
God.
those who are being discriminated in terms of for multiple things, for their for orientation, for racial suppression, and multiple things like that. People with disabilities, people with
A lot of
disabilities,
factors.
a lot of factors. So what we are trying to do is we are trying to bridge this gap. We are trying to bridge
Okay.
this gap with with resources. It means it means a lot of government intervention. It means a lot
Okay.
of their voices heard. And this is what we're trying to do. But of course, it brings you down to the thing when you actually them with the money, how do you
Mhm.
channelize it? Let me tell you one thing. There is enough
Okay.
money in the world. Actually, there is enough money in the world. It's only how you need to get it into the right place at
True.
the right time and into the right
Yeah.
project. Now, the most important thing in this is what I do is we channelize funding. We've got, I mean, we are thankful to have enough donors, organizations, governments that fund us. And
Okay.
most importantly, we are the ones who are to be responsible for that because it's largely third party money we're talking about.
Okay.
So when the funding is there, it's important to see how the money is being utilized at the right place in the right location. And for this, you need to devise a lot of and devise different matrices,
Yeah.
or different reporting standards. And this is what
True.
I've largely been doing for the past few years and seeing how things are being channelized. And I think that's the most interesting thing because
Okay.
you really learn from people who are at the ground level. It largely it's always everybody's got a
Okay.
suspicion of NGOs are misusing this money, NGO and thing. But when you really go back, get your hands dirty and see what's happening at the ground level, you see the
I
hard
know.
reality they are facing. And I think
Okay,
so.
okay.
This gap, yeah.
Yeah. So how do you go about this whole system? Because now it says maybe above 5 crores or 10 crores, you're supposed to spend 2% CSR, is what I understand. And so do you barge into companies, or do companies recognize you? How does the whole system take place? Now, if tomorrow somebody wants to know the entire system, how does it work? And if they need your support, your help, so how does that happen?
Good question, though. Actually, yeah. In fact, I would say the CSR law, which was passed by the Indian government, was one of the most fabulous laws that I've ever seen. Very few countries, a handful of countries around the world have this.
Okay.
Now, yes, as you said, you really can't barge into their offices because the minute you start barging in, I mean, whenever it's like this, when somebody barges into your house, you try to stop them in. But when somebody comes to you in a different
Yeah.
way as a something, you welcome them. So, I mean, that's why you have to be innovative. All how I mean, it's simple the way how you do sales. You need to have a good program on your hand. So, what we do as an organization, I represent Deutsche Cleft
Correct.
Kinderhilfe and BMSS, and a lot of other consortiums of Cleft India. So we help children born with facial deformities.
Okay.
And we also advocate for safe surgery. We
Okay.
try to improve safety standards inside
Wow.
the operation theaters. So that's what we do, and we try to give smiles to children who really don't have them. So how do we do this? So we actually
So
channelize
beautiful.
these resources, talking to companies. We talk to them about their
Okay.
projects. We really barge into the offices, but we of course we do make cold calls. We do make cold calls, talk to
Okay.
them about our project. We keep getting the word in the market, and
Get it.
after try to convert our cold calls into warm calls. And but there are large number of times even companies approach us, so it's a mix of
Okay.
both.
Both. Okay. So, are you going to only focus on the cleft, department? I mean, that's the only side of life that you're going to focus on, making sure that funds reach there, or are you also have? Do you also have different plans ahead?
Yes, primarily we would see because that's our mainstay, and
Okay.
we've been for close to 10 years now. And see,
Okay.
mankind has problems, but and we really can't solve all the problems. So
Okay.
it's better to focus in one area and where you can make a market difference rather than do
Absolutely.
little bit of that. We really don't
True.
want to cherry pick. But of course, being after we launched the Cleft India Consortium, which is a consortium of four organizations, international organizations together, we
Okay.
decided we also advocate for safe surgery and try to improve areas and hospitals which don't have good which don't have good safety inside the operation theaters. We are trying to help them
Okay.
out with this. We are also trying
Wow.
to provide operations to children below 18 years of age,
Okay.
that provide free surgeries for anything even other than non-cleft surgeries wherever
Wow.
surgery is accessible to them. So
Okay.
what we talk about safe quality surgery and accessibility. That's our main motto.
Great, great. And has it been a problem since our current government has said that the foreign funds that come in shall be monitored, and a lot of different regulations that has been recently introduced. So how has that played a role in your system?
Well, our funding is a mix of foreign funding, Indian funding, benevolent donors here. I mean, we also work with a large amount of corporate funding in India. So,
Okay.
well, with the Foreign Contribution Regulation Act and the rules that the government recently amended, uh,
Okay.
really don't really don't make much of a difference to us because they've just increased the compliance standards from what it was 10 years back. And
Okay.
as an organization, we've been quite compliant with all this. So I really don't think if you're compliant, it's largely to do with uh, it's it's actually I think a large number of organizations are already following it. It's
Okay.
actually just put the rules on the books. That's all done, and you just need to
Simple.
stay in compliance. I really don't think we would have any problems with that.
Fantastic, fantastic. It's so good, no? I mean, because all my shows, we've had some laughter, we've had some singing, we've had some, acting, and all of a sudden it gets very serious, but very informative, and that's the best part of today's session. So, my dear viewers, we've already got comments. True, Dr. Dushyant works contributed to Cleft organization immensely. God bless Dr. Dushyant, says Alakran. And Abhishek Daga says, yeah, everyone can't dream of making $1 billion company. And then Chintan Vashi, of course, our support, he says, deep, knowledgeable personality. And of course, he is, which is why I'm also having a tough time. I really need to, filter my questions, within myself before it is delivered. So I'm having some good fun asking questions to Dr. Dushanji. Dushanji, speaking engagements, if I look at your profile, you've attended the conference on cleft care, Hanoi, Vietnam, in 2011. So I see that you're very closely related, to cleft. So can our audience know more about cleft? The adverse effects, that the children face because of this disease.
Yeah, definitely. I'll definitely like to talk about it. So, cleft lip and palate is one of the most common facial deformities that you
Okay.
find around the world. And close to 1 in 600 to 1 in 800 children are affected around the world. So, this is
Wow.
quite a common deformity. And this is, as you would have seen, it's an opening in the lip, which is
The
very
upper lip.
apparent. The upper lip, yeah, it's open. It actually can, that's the most simplest form. It can run across the face too in a more severe case. So this is the quite common thing, which is apparent. You
Whoa.
also have the palate, which is the roof of the mouth, which is open at a point in time, which is known as the cleft palate deformity. So when you drink some water,
Okay.
or when a child drinks milk, everything comes out through your nostrils because the roof of the mouth is
Okay.
not covered. So where the palate is not covered. So this is a big problem
Okay.
because a large children born with this deformity hardly get to either they are either very weak, malnourished, or they also die
Okay.
at a point
Just
because
for a laugh, Dushanji, sorry, I'm stopping you. Just for the laugh's sake, did I catch you, red-handed when you said when you drink water? So is that cup actually having water? Didn't I catch you?
no, I do enjoy my cup of coffee, but today I made it a point to drink some, and I'm
Hot
drinking some
water.
chamomile. No, no,
Oh,
no,
you're actually
chamomile tea.
having coffee, is it? Okay,
No,
okay.
no,
So just
chamomile tea to be precise.
okay. Thank you so much. You saved my face. Yeah, talking about them. Yes, it is. It has been a serious issue. Yes, please.
So yes, as I said, you said that. So this is quite something which a lot of children they don't get to live. They can die because they really don't. They are unable to breastfeed properly. So you really need
Okay.
to make this into, and then they can't speak properly. So you
Mhm.
really need to have a intervention, a surgical intervention where you can repair it, where you can repair the palate, you can repair the lip. So we start these surgeries from the age of 3 months,
Okay.
and it goes on with the different a number of surgeries as per the stages in your life. Now the biggest problem is when you have a deformity on your face, and that's something we call known as face inequality, because when you
Hmm.
the face is what you put forward for the first thing, and when you don't
Okay.
have the right, you're really ostracized. You're ostracized in your by your family members. You're ostracized in school and
True.
wherever. You don't want to see somebody with a bad face.
True.
Unlike other facial deformities or other disabilities, cleft is not classified as a disability because it's a repairable deformity. And that's why we are so happy to be working in this field, because though we
Wow.
know there's an anomaly there, there's a disfigurement, facial disfigurement there, there
Okay.
is something that we can do. We can correct it, we can repair it. And all it takes is a simple surgery. A simple surgery is because if you have the good technique, if you have a good surgeon, good medical team to take care, a good hospital and good infrastructure, you can. All you need is you need to put in the funds there. So
Exactly.
even though this cleft affects not just children from the weaker social sections of economy, it affects anybody, any section. It can, from the richer person to the poorest person, it can affect anybody. The
Okay.
only thing is that we have what we have spent years of research, we have spent years of nurturing cleft care professionals. We are actually, we though we do a large number of free surgeries for these children, we are also
Okay.
happy to offer our services to those who can pay who can pay for their surgeries, but they need advice, because I have also seen the lack of good advice is not there even for those who can pay for surgery. So this
Oh
is
God.
what we the things that we wanted to offer with our Cleft India initiative. And with this,
Wow.
we do over 3,500 surgeries every year free of cost, with a lot of other allied interventions in India alone.
Superb, superb. So good to know. And you always need a good heart to do this as well. It's not just the the academic side to it. You also need to have the willpower, the passion to follow what Dushanji is doing. So to all the billionaire viewers who are watching us, to all the millionaire viewers who are watching us, please make sure your CSR funds go to the right place, because there are experts like Dushanji and a lot of other companies who actually make sure the allocation of funds is rightly done, and it creates a true impact, because especially in India, it is a very unorganized sector, is what I understand. And please make sure that your funds go to the right hands, and it's rightly implemented. Dushanti, it's so fantastic to know that you've been doing a fantastic work. Though it sounds corporate, but deep inside, if you look at the human angle to it, being human, that's what more matters to our viewers, and of course to me personally. Thank you so much for being one of them who's making sure the funds reach rightly. uh, so Dushanji, in amidst all this, you have also been an entrepreneur. You have started your own company, if I'm spelling it right. Is it Uber Culture?
It's Uber Culture.
Uber Culture, okay. Uh,
It was
could
started
we
by my
know
good
more
friend.
about your company, please? Yes.
So it was my good friend Susanna Herden, who lives in
Okay.
Germany,
Mhm.
and we started the company together while she was in Bangalore, and now the company is between Bangalore and Germany.
Okay.
It's more of it's a boutique training. It's a boutique intercultural firm, which we had the umbilical connect to Germany, and
Wow.
Susanna Herden herself was a German.
Okay.
We decided uh, we connect companies which have their presence both in India and Germany. So what we do is we have language training. We also have
Okay.
intercultural training. A number of people who come from Germany are sensitized to the Indian culture, and the
Mhm.
Indians who are going to Germany need to improve their language, brush up their German skills, and they also need to understand and sensitize them to the German culture. So,
Wow.
so we work with a couple of companies which have their presence in these two countries. So
Okay.
so as I say, it's a boutique firm. We don't deal with more than 10 clients in a year, and this
Wow.
is really interesting. Yeah.
That's so good. So yet another information, dear viewers who are going to listen, who are listening to us. Now you know whom to catch. It's Dr. Dushyant Prasad. Please. He also has a website known as drdushyantprasad.com. So please contact him if you want to reach Germany, and the right way is again what I would say. And he also has language training happening at his company as well. So definitely the right person to contact. So this is all about Dr. Dushanji, his life stories, and his achievements. So, Dushanji, thank you. We had a fantastic Karak Chai segment, which was more about your profession, more about what you do. Moving on to the Masala Chai segment, food, wine, and travel. Fantastically explained in your profile. So, which among them do you love the most? Traveling, food, or the wine?
I think it's all the three together, because all
I thought so. You can't be so decent as well, isn't it?
all three go hand in hand, because what's travel without food, and what's food without travel, because you can't experience the different cuisines. It's not about
Okay,
having food. I mean, when we talk about different cuisines, it's not having Pan Asian, or it's not having Indonesian in Bangalore. It's not about having
true,
Chinese in Bangalore. It's not about having Vietnamese food in Bangalore. It's
true.
experiencing food in different countries and different cultures, and that's what goes
Wow.
hand in hand with travel, as I say. And what's travel? It's not. I really travel is not about sightseeing. Travel is not about clicking pictures and posting them on
Okay.
social media. Travel is what
Mhm.
you experience, learn with people. I mean, I'm not being too philosophical, but that's a simple thing. You really travel is fine if you wake up late, if you
Okay.
actually spend time sitting in a coffee shop, sitting in a bar somewhere in a different country, just observing people. It's not about
Mhm.
shopping, just shopping malls. Of course, going to shopping malls to pick up your favorite brands or favorite things is different. But travel is all about understanding different cultures and eating food from different cultures. So,
Wow.
So that's what I said. And of course, what's life without a little bit of wine?
Absolutely. Wow. Fantastically portrayed and said as well. So just for our viewers to know, one of the best tourist destinations that you would recommend.
Well, my choices will always be different from what someone wants, but it's very hard to say. There are so many. So the best tourist destinations, I really can't say because I'm not a touristy kind of person. The world is an
Okay.
ocean out there, and you really need to explore. So I really don't want to say that because it's not one person. Every place has something
Okay.
different to offer.
Okay. One of the best experiences, if we could know from your side, your travel
Uh,
experience.
yes, and I think this was a couple of years back when I was in Switzerland, and I was
Okay.
in a place. I mean, this is a quite a touristy place, but I just enjoyed an evening out there in a place called Interlaken. A lot of Indians have been there, and people keep going. You can see a lot of Indians who are actually tourists there. But I
Okay.
think I've always liked Interlaken in Switzerland, and I've also liked the Black Forest in Germany. And this is
Wow.
something which I go every year, so that's one thing which very
So
interesting
nice.
there.
Great, great. So fantastic. So you are a man who's actually seeing the other side of the the grass as well. So the grass is greener, they say, and you've actually been there to know how it is even abroad and at different places. So there are a lot of them. There are a lot of them who compare the Indian system to places abroad, and the way it's organized and the hierarchy that flows, the corruption that's involved. What was your opinion when you were there and when you compare India, our country, to the different countries? What is that difference that you feel?
The difference, of course, India has a lot to offer. In fact, I even like traveling a lot in India. I enjoy India. So there's one thing which I always define. There's something called comfort. If you're now the question is if you're asking me to compare the Western world to India or the Eastern world to India. So if I have to compare the Western world to India, the developed
Okay,
world to the developed world to India, because India is more of a LMIC country, a low and middle income country.
true,
So
true.
there's a difference between comfort and convenience. In
Okay,
the Western world, you have a lot of convenience, but in
correct.
India we are with a lot of comfort, which you may not
Okay,
get there. So
wow,
I mean, so you do a lot of your work by yourself in the Western world, but where in India you have a lot of people, and but at the same time you're supporting a lot of people to do your work. So that's why
absolutely.
everybody the question of hierarchy falls in India, because to do one person's job you have three people doing it. So
Wow.
that's the,
Well
the also
explained.
the other thing about India is that we talk a lot about what we have, but
Okay,
we try to bring in a lot of things, but we really are not sustainable
okay,
for the simplest ease of traveling. Why can't we simply buy a ticket in a railway station easily through a machine, like an automated telemachine? But whereas
true.
when you can do it in other countries, we talk about our technology, we talk about Google Paytms and Phone Pays and Google Pays, but
Yeah,
we haven't been able to achieve that technology with other countries have, which countries which don't gloat about their technology. That's one thing which I'm
rightly.
a bit because the
Rightly
ease
said,
of
rightly said, especially with the hash digital India. That's one of our vision. You're absolutely right. We're yet not there, isn't it?
Yeah, if you have to buy a ticket, IRCTC. That's one of the
Yeah.
worst things in my life. Like ever, the website which I never like to spend time is IRCTC website. I'm sorry to say that, but it's the most irritating thing. But you really can't buy something easily. You can't go to a
True.
railway station and buy a ticket for yourself. Why can't you just do that? Why can't you buy a bus ticket on board, and why can't you just use your machine thing to tap? You when you have all the digital tools available, it doesn't work at the
Absolutely.
right. This is where we need to change. The people who are
Yes.
using those know how to use the machines. So this is where we really need to change. And we've
Very
come
true.
into the cards. Let me tell you about now in the COVID situation. In the COVID situation, we want to minimize contact with everything.
Correct.
So we have touch cards, we have NFC cards now. Why can't everybody say activate their cards? Even the biggest
Absolutely.
brands, when you go, the biggest coffee shops or the biggest brands, they still will take your card, make you put that pin, touch everything again, bring in contact. So, I mean, we talk about so much contactless thing, but it's all just said but not done. That's what I'm disappointed over here. Whereas in
Very
other
true.
places, they say it, they really do it.
Some valid frustrations coming out of the Shinji after half an hour of our conversation, and which actually makes a lot of sense, and viewers, thank you for listening to us. Please do make sure the message is spread, because and lessons are learned, and that's where we can make a change together if we can actually start implementing what just was said by Dushanji, one of the honorary positions that I noticed, you were the general secretary of ABMSS Bangalore. Your experience during those days, please.
I'm still the general secretary
Oh,
of
you're still there.
ABMSS.
Okay.
ABMSS is one of the key partner organizations of the Cleft India Consortium, and ABMSS is what runs 36 cleft centers across the country, which does a lot of work in the area of healthcare, which does a lot of work in free surgeries across India, nutrition
Okay.
programs, and
Okay.
being associated with this as one of the this is an honorary position. So all of us who sit on the board of this organization are completely honorary here, and
Okay.
this is we have got a fabulous team on the board here, which all of them have. I mean, people who have made a noteworthy contribution in their own fields, and we've got
Hmm.
a fabulous network of partners, hospitals, doctors, and everything that which helps us achieve our aims of
Okay.
delivering left care here.
Wow. So, Dushanji, what should one do today? Or what should one study to follow the career path that you are currently that you're currently doing, especially when it comes to being a healthcare professional and a non-profit, organization, to be part of it. So, what are the different, sectors of education that we have, the different departments that we could study?
Yeah. So the first thing is primarily into healthcare. That is, if you really want to become a caregiver, that you want to become
Okay.
a doctor, a nurse, or a dentist, or whatever. That's your primary healthcare. That's of course. Then you should really have your mind thing bent upon that because you really want. Your vision should be that you really want to treat patients. That's the first thing. That if that is
Wow.
your thing. Now coming to the second thing, you want to make an intervention. You want to be an interventionist in the healthcare sector. That is,
Okay.
you can the corporate world. You can be a manager. You can be in the management side on the management side of hospitals and
Okay.
public think tanks. The third thing is, and this when I talk about the healthcare sector and the management side, you can
Mhm.
actually do something uh, like an MBA in healthcare. You can
Okay.
actually hospital management. Today, we have a large number of courses which were not there a couple of years back. A decade ago,
True.
you really don't have these tailor-made courses. The third thing is public health, and public health specialists are the most sought after now after the pandemic has set in, because the pandemic is what has shown us the huge lack of public healthcare specialists that we have. So public health is where you're part of the
Okay.
think tank, you're part of the government, you're part of organizations, you're part of NGOs. You're talking about how would you address the concerns of the healthcare sector overall. At the same time, as a
Oh,
public health specialist, you can also be a medical professional. So somebody as a doctor who's actually qualified technically or professionally, but does not want to
okay.
be a caregiver, can be a part of
Mhm.
this and can say, do my public health specialization, and I will be there in planning these and implementing these programs. So that's again a third career where you can actually marry the first part. Being a
True.
caregiver as a doctor, you can also be a part of this. Or even if you're
Wow.
not a doctor, somebody who understands statistics, matrices, you understand what is public health, you can get into this. The fourth
Wow.
thing is the fourth thing is the non-profit sector. The non-profit
Okay.
sector is, yeah, you have a large number of organizations like the Tata Institute of Social Sciences. You have the ISB, the Indian School of Business, which has also started this. The IM Bangalore holds a number of courses like this. You also have
Okay.
organizations like Sheila institutions. You have the Ashoka University, which have some
Okay.
fabulous courses. The problem is a large number of people don't know about these courses when they are there, when they've started on their career, just right out of school, right after their pre-university colleges. So I think
True.
if I about these so one area, it's four different disciplines that I've spoken about now.
Uh, Great. Great. And what, according to you, are the success mantras for being one of the best entrepreneurs? What would you say? Because you've been through it.
Well, I'm not a great entrepreneur. I'm so I would rather say I'm actually a person who's actually made a difference in the non-profit and healthcare sector. But
Okay, okay,
so I so as being somebody in that, I would say the most important thing is try and see. I mean, you need to really understand what you're trying to do. Is it
true,
really making a difference? Are you doing something monotonous? Monotony does set in, but that
okay,
monotony should not set in such a way that you become complacent. Now, I'm using
absolutely,
these words because it's so important that you need to keep upgrading your skills. You need to keep changing what you want to do. So there's no such
wow,
thing as a mantra, but you really need to understand. We've really done this. We've achieved this. But is there something next? Can we do something else? Can we do something different? Or can we look back and see what was wrong and can we do it in a different way?
wow.
And the success mantra, I think, is you have to fail a couple of times, and only then you can succeed.
So true. You need to hit the wall, isn't it? And that's when you realize, oh wow, it hurts. And that's when, as you said, you need to adapt. You need to correct yourself. You need to advance yourself, and that's when everything falls in place. And that does take some time. It's not easy, isn't it? It's not any shortcut to it.
I learned a lot from a lot of my friends. In fact, all my friends is what I learned from them actually. So I keep talking to them, my friends, contacts, and everything. So each time you keep talking to a person, and I think every time you learn something new from a different person. That's
And
what
today you're
makes.
you're you're teaching me that how even being very subtle, but delivering the right words can make a great impact, just like how you manage the funds. I mean, your personality is that, and it's important for me to say this because a lot of people feel that you need to make a huge buzz to make an impact. No, it's not like that. And you're rightly so peacefully sitting with that coffee, and so subtle, whereas I am just moving around and trying to bring it out of you. What do you
Tea,
say?
tea, tea, no coffee.
Wow, wow, so nice, Dushanti. It's been a learning experience, for me myself, and I love learning. As I always say, learning is till death, and appreciation is only after that. And that's so fantastically being followed here. Meeting Sadhguru and your connection with Lalit Sangviji. I managed to find two photos where you are giving a fantastic pose. So, what's your experience with them?
Two poles apart, I must say, firstly. But again, both of them have something in common. They live life on their own terms and they live life to the fullest, both of them.
Wow.
So, Sadhguru, I've also known Sadhguru from the time I was a child because Sadhguru hails from Mysore, and
Okay.
so but when and after being Sadhguru, I met him a couple of times, and in fact
Okay.
you're referring to one of the things what you would have seen. It was largely at Sadhguru was talking at the international the World Cleft Congress rather in
Okay.
2017, and that was a wonderful dinner. We had a small dinner, and that's when we spoke about a couple of things. And when I asked, and Sadhguru was, I always ask him a question because every time I really want one question to be answered, but
Okay.
his answers are so cryptic, which makes you actually get the answer by yourself.
Oh
So,
wow.
but one thing what I've learned from Sadhguru is that keep doing what you want to do, and
Okay.
the answers within. And when you have a problem, keep asking, and you'll only get the answers again by yourself. That's one thing.
Wow.
So
Wow.
if you're talking about Lalit Sanghi, he is somebody really young at heart, and I
Uh-huh.
think your age is something not no barrier.
True. 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 And very well connected, both of them. And you had all the the luck and the sheer success of meeting them and learning from them, and that's what's more important. And in this show, I'm going to take the onus, as a brother, requesting you to somehow connect Sadhguruji to Chillax with Josh Chai one day or the other. So I'm taking the onus. One day, if we would be able to have him on our show.
I'll definitely try.
Yeah, yeah. So we had a fantastic masala chai segment where we got to know the other side of Dushanji as well. So he loves traveling. What is traveling without good food? And yes, what's life without a little wine? Wow, well explained, and so many lessons learned today. So moving on to the final segment, Dushanji, it's tandoor chai segment. Biryani or anna sambar? What do you like? What do you prefer?
I do like Anna Sambar, but I also I enjoy the biryani.
Very nice, very nice. You need to choose one.
But I'm a vegetarian.
Oh, you're a vegetarian. Wow. Now that's poles apart, isn't it?
Yeah, but I only turned a vegetarian this year.
Oh, okay, fantastic, fantastic. So you've enjoyed life, and now you want to try the other side as
Yeah. So I mean, I think it's much more healthier.
well. Wow, wow, very nice. Whom would you choose? Choose one among them. Who could be a really great inspirer? Narayan Murthy or Mark Zuckerberg?
Narayan Murthy.
Narayan Murthy for the legend he is, isn't it?
Yes, and I think yeah, he's inspired me all throughout. Mark
Okay.
Zuckerberg, of course, created something great, but Narayan Murthy from a very young age, he's inspired me.
Wow, fantastic. Lady with a sari or a chudidar?
Sorry, any day.
Any day. Look at that. Look at that was the fastest reply you gave. You know, so to all the happening, ladies who are single, please watch. Dr. Dushyant is absolutely available. Yet to get married, one of the most intelligent men I've ever interviewed. So what
Yeah,
say, Dushyantji? Wow, so nice to talk to you. Yeah. So who cooks at home for you?
well, I do have a cook, but I do cook occasionally.
Okay.
When I'm that's when I'm never when I'm not hungry, I do cook because when I'm
Oh,
hungry, it's possible.
okay. I really had to tell you this because I had actually requested Nandanji, to come in for 5 minutes, but he said he was traveling, which is why he couldn't. But of course, we have Chintanji, who's my backbone, and the ideology of starting this entire show was with just a conversation between me and Chintanji, who hails from Gujarat. He also runs Lasya Kalavrund, a dance school, and they are true icons of Garba, the art form from Gujarat. So I would love to bring him on to our screen. चिंतन जी नमस्कार. और चिंतन जी आज आज ऐसा हो रहा है कि one of the most intelligent personalities on our show today, and he's been very humble, very subtle, but giving fantastic and very informative answers. Chintan ji, it's all yours. You can talk to him.
When I listened to Sir, first I commented very deep knowledge, very important sessions, and we are glad, sir, we honor. So thank you so much, sir, for coming. And sir, I would like to say in Gujarati, કેમ છો મજામાં, sir?
Yes, Chintanji, that's really nice. Thank you so much. And I know, in fact, I just love your commando class and khichdi's, which I've which is one of my favorite delicacies. I've been to Ahmedabad and Surat and multiple and a lot of places in Gujarat a couple of times. I've also
Wow.
enjoyed watching your Garba sessions because I'm also closely connected to our Gujarati community in Mysore. So it's really nice that you're
Yes, sir.
running a
Yes,
dance
sir.
school
We
with
all said Mr. Amitabh Bachchan is also ambassador of Gujarat and said, Gujarat नहीं देखा तो कुछ नहीं देखा.
exactly. And I would love to visit your dance school sometime too.
Yeah. And
Chintanji, you need to give him an invitation, an open invitation that he would come
sure,
to
sir.
your
When I
school.
on the 28th June, my Lashri Kalarun is going to complete a year. So definitely we are going to plan a huge, uh, big dance shows. So I would like to definitely invite you, sir. Please do come.
Thank,
And yes, sir.
thank you
Sir,
so
I
much.
would like to ask you, sir, in this situation, in the pandemic situation, sir, our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi sir said that we should give with the Atmanirbhar project. Like whatever we are giving ordering from like Amazon or for any online shopping, sir, we don't know where the monies are going. Is it in India or is it in out of India, sir? So in this situation or after such some days, sir, we have to go with this project, sir. What you say? What's your suggestions regarding this, sir? How to be able to develop, sir?
I mean, definitely the honorable Prime Minister is a very learned person, and talking about being self-reliant has been a concept of everything about from I mean India. The Indian concept has been being self-reliant also all around, and I think the pandemic, what the Prime Minister talks about is to talk more on trying to see that you being self-reliant means being self-sustainable.
True.
That's a simple thing, as you said. So I think it's a thing called model like teach a man how to fish, and then you can actually give him a lifetime of fishing. So you really don't
Wow.
give him the fish, teach a man how to fish so that he can fish for himself. And that's what all the Atmanirbhar is all about. And I think with this, it's most important because that's when you actually talk about low costs, you talk about being more affordable, being more accessible, and things like that. But at the same time, I do not say that we just should shut out foreign brands or we shut out. Um, I mean, you don't look the other way. It's equally important that you have what you really need to get from the other side. But I mean, the basic thing needs to be produced in India, being more self-reliant. That's all about it. Yeah, and I think
Yes.
we've been doing that for a long time. It's just that it's all about we are Indians. As Indians, we're a little fascinated by anything foreign. That's why.
Yes, sir. बोलते हैं ना बनेगा इंडिया तो बढ़ेगा इंडिया.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Absolutely. So
And
Chintan ji और कुछ.
Tejo, when I
जी.
listened to sir, when I was listening your conversations and the interview going on, I was thinking sir is like a very simple and sober personality. But when you ask the rapid fire question, girls will be in sari or in Punjabi, sir said us,
इम,
because I
इम,
sir is yeah, sir is
नहीं नहीं सर
also
सर 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 को शरारती बिल्कुल पसंद है मगर स्क्रीन पे दिखेगा
स्क्रीन
नहीं
पे
ये
नहीं
दिखाएगा
दिखी,
नहीं
बस सर का
स्क्रीन पे
एक
नहीं
क्वेश्चन में
दिखेंगे
हमको पता चल गया. Yes, sir.
he
Uh,
he's leading a very sober life on screen. Behind the screens,
yes.
he's a fantastic personality. He's a lovely individual. He's doing a fantastic job, चिंतन जी. और ये भी कहना चाहता हूँ कि चिंतन जी जो भी बड़े बड़े पर्सनालिटीज है जिसका कंपनी मिलियंस पे डील कर रहे हैं और crores में डील कर रहे हैं, I think they are the right people who needs to connect to such personalities. क्योंकि दुष्यंत जी का काम ऐसा है कि जो भी CSR फंड्स है उस फंड्स को राइट जगह पे इम्प्लीमेंट करने के लिए
Yeah.
सिस्टम बनाते हैं. और एंड
Wow.
दे मैनेज द होल फंड्स. जो भी CSR का फंड्स है वो पूरा फंड्स मैनेज करते हैं और ये भी अश्योर करते हैं कि ये जो फंड्स जिधर जाएगा उधर इम्प्लीमेंट भी हो जाते हैं ताकि एक
Implement.
इम्पैक्ट हो जाए जिसके ऊपर. और स्पेशली क्लेफ्ट जैसा डिजीज है जिधर अपर लिप में वो गैप आता है ना, ऐसे
Yeah, yeah.
बच्चे के लिए ये CSR फंड्स रीच करवाते हैं दुष्यंत
Wow.
जी और उनके टीम. सो चिंतन जी जरूर हमें इस पर्टिकुलर एपिसोड को प्रमोट भी करना पड़ेगा ताकि
Sure.
देयर आर लॉट मेनी पीपल who are actually waiting to receive help and aid.
Yeah, surely. And Dushyanji, just I would like to ask you one question more. Sir, I when I see the other school children or when I go any competition or anywhere, sir, parents are thinking my child should be best, my child should become first. So this is the nowadays this competition is going on very high level. So children see sir, hum five fingers are not equal, you know, but parents are not getting this. There are the parents problems. So I would like to ask you how to make happy, how to develop a child. So some tips if you can say.
But a simple thing, I think, I mean, we really can't, there's nothing to develop the child because the child should be left by itself. What we can do is
Wow.
we can develop the parents. We have to tell them that no matter you think your child is number one, there is always somebody better than that. So the parents first need to understand that their child can never be number one, though they should aspire and want their child to be number one. But even if you're number one, there's somebody above that always.
Absolutely.
So with that simple concept in mind, I think we really can't develop a child. The child should grow by itself. and the parents should learn not to not to create mental pressure on the child. That's most important.
Wow, wow. To all the parents listening to us, it's a fantastic, a suggestion and an advice. Let's not pressurize any of our children, because each one is different, differently, able, and they have their own talents. So it is rather important for every parent to nurture what the child loves to do, or loves to learn, or loves to, where her or his interest lies, and that's more important. And let's not create any more burden or any more tensions, unwanted tensions on a child. So please make sure all parents share this as well, because it is a very absolutely fantastic suggestion given by Dushyanji. And thank you, Chintanji, for asking such a question as well.
One more naughty question, Jojo. सर को
Yeah,
थोड़ा
please do.
बॉलीवुड तड़का, बॉलीवुड से
Yeah,
आए, थोड़ा बॉलीवुड तड़का. Sir, choose
bilkul.
rapid fire question from my side. Sir, choose only one, sir. There is no options. So, right. Sir, Amitabh Bachchan or Dharamji?
Amitabh Bachchan.
No,
Amitabh.
it should have been two ladies, Chintanji.
Okay,
आप बहुत
I'm
आसान सा
asking.
क्वेश्चन पूछ लिया आपने.
रेखा जी, हेमा मालिनी.
Hema Malini.
हेमा
Hey,
मालिनी.
mama. Okay.
देखो, दोनों 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 फैमिली का एकदम इक्वल हो गया. वेरी स्मार्ट.
Fan-
धर्म जी को भी बुरा
Fantastic.
नहीं लगेगा.
जी बिल्कुल, बहुत अच्छे सेशन थे. और दुष्यंत जी, थैंक यू सो मच फॉर गिविंग योर मोस्ट वैल्यूबल टाइम, and coming here and explaining about you. And Dushyanth ji, you've met a lot of personalities like Sadhguru ji, and lot of other corporates, lot of media. uh, did you ever think that you would ever be sitting and at a show like Chillax with Joshai, with Jojo K Joseph?
I didn't think, because I've always talk. I mean, when I have to talk something about something seriously, because I was a little worried. I'm most stressed one was with you. I thought, because you were all throughout, and so I think you made it a bit easy. Easy. You've been easy on me. So I'm so a bit worried about.
Wow,
That's
wow.
what you and Chintan would you all pull my legs a bit. That's what.
No, we just make sure the relationship stays longer, and it's not just for a show. Dushanji, what we're trying to do is connect different people, and it always comes to help someday or the other. Irrespective of the show and irrespective of what happens to this world, I'm sure now at least 10 new people know about Dushanji in Gujarat. 10 new people, and that really creates a positive impact, is what we
Yes.
believe.
And I must say thank you so much, both of you all, for inviting me and having me here, for spending an hour with me, and actually doing a little bit of background work and things like that. I think I'm really thankful to both of you.
Thank you, Justinji. Before we conclude, we would love to have the final message from your end to the current generation, especially the youngsters.
Well, I would say, if you're really interested in doing something, please do it. But please do it consciously. When I say do it consciously, you really need to think as I said, the simple thing, is this something, am I doing the right thing? Is this going to help me? Is this going to be going to benefit me? At the same time, am I going to achieve something out of this? I think with
Wow.
these three or four questions, answer it to yourself, it's the rest of it will all fall in place.
So beautiful. So beautiful. Thank you so much. Chintanji, कुछ कहना है last में?
Thank you so much, sir, for coming. And it was a one more message. So you please say viewers to our audience, please they have to wear a mask. They have to cover even nose also. Please say and give message to the viewers, sir.
Yes, thank
What
you.
you say, sir?
Definitely.
People are
Most
wearing
important.
masks in here only. Yes, sir. Perfect,
I
sir.
Wow.
think I think I request
Perfect, sir.
everyone. Please, I mean, the pandemic is nowhere from being over. It will take another year, so don't let your guard down.
Yeah.
Keep it on all the time. Not just wearing your mask. Most importantly, when you go near somebody, don't do this, don't do this. And when you're talking to somebody, keep the mask on. Wash your
Wow.
hands. Don't keep everything and sanitize. So just follow these simple things. The rest, you really can't do anything, but be careful
True.
as much as possible.
Wow, superb! And
Wow, sir. Thank you
what
so
an
much, sir.
amazing conclusion, and what an amazing message to end off this session with Dr. Dushyant. Thank you, Nikhilesh Mallikarjun. Thank you for your comment. Awesome, Dushyant Prasad, and thank you for all the viewers for being with us. Thank you to all the viewers for being with us, for supporting us, for listening to this fantastic personality, Dr. Dushyant Prasad. Do follow him. He's there on Facebook. He's also he also has his website, dushyantprasad.com. So please do follow him and make sure our CSR funds are going to the right hands. Thank you. Chillax with Joe's Chai will be back with amazing personalities the coming weekend. Thank you, Chintanji, for joining us, my pillar, my back support. And thank you, Shinti, for all your wonderful suggestions, advices, and your beautiful time given to us. Thank you. See you all. Signing off.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Chin.
Take care. Stay safe. Stay happy. Happy Diwali, sir. Jojo, happy
Happy,
Diwali.
happy Diwali to all of you. Jai Hind.
Jai Hind.